Welcome back. Unfortunately, here we are back at the shower valve. After I wrapped up the last video, I thought everything was fine. And later on that afternoon, probably, I say 2 or 3 hours later, I happened to come walking back here and the shower had started leaking again. I don't know how long it had been leaking, but it was leaking. So I'm back to almost square one with the shower valve. So I got online looking, and there's a few things that it could be. Now, take in mind, this is not a wore out shower valve. This is a brand new. One of the problems is I bought this thing at least a year ago, so it's at least that old off the shelf. But I just installed it, I don't know, a few months ago, and all I've done is test with it. It's never been used for any length of time. So I tried to narrow my search down to, problems with new ones, which obviously one of them is the shower valve cylinder can be defective. There's an O-ring inside here that could be bad, a washer that could be bad, but those kind of things kind of pertain to an older valve, not a new one. And then one of the other things could be, which I don't have any way of testing this, I'm not a plumber or anything, is the water pressure could be too strong and it's forcing its way through the cylinder. Because again, what it acts like when it starts leaking, it acts just like you're dripping your faucet. Like if you don't want your water pipes to, it's not a steady stream, but it's more like a drip, or is a drip. So we don't want that out of our shower. I don't know if anybody would want it out of their shower. So I cannot proceed with covering this up until I get this fixed. So what I'm going to try to do is get this valve cylinder out of here and see if I can see if it is the washers, and then I'll probably see about getting a new cylinder. I can't just take the valve back, the whole assembly, number one, after a year or so. I don't have the receipt, and it's already been installed, it already has tape all on it, and I just feel like maybe if I can just get the cylinder working properly, that'll fix it. Now, if the cylinder, some of these cylinders are expensive enough to where if it is bad, the price of it's too high, I could just get the whole new assembly for another $10 or so. That's what I'm going to do and hope for the best. If I do get a new whole assembly, put it in, it's still leaking, it's probably going to be my water pressure. Now, one of the things I could try, and I have thought about doing, I could try turning my water valves on, but just don't turn them on all the way. I could try that, but I'm hoping I don't have to do that. I hope that's not the problem. I hope it's not the water pressure. I'm not thinking it would be though, but you never know. So I'm gonna get started on trying to see it. I haven't watched any videos on it yet, but it shouldn't be too hard to get this out of here. I wouldn't think. It's gonna get to a point where it just comes out, I think. So let's see what happens. Okay, I know I'm going to have to take this out. Take that loose. I just got my screwdriver out of my work truck, and man, it is cold. Alright, put this in a safe place. Well, maybe it'll be safe here. We will find out. Now, there's this donut there. And let me turn this back off. And then, you know, if there's an off adjustment also, but I don't think there is. All right. Looks like that's all one piece. I'm wondering if this comes off by that right there. That I'm not sure. I'm whispering because my wife is on the other side of this wall. She's in bed, not feeling good, so I'm trying not to disturb her too much. But I also want to get this looked at. All right. I'm going to have to do some investigating, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I found this little hex nut here helps you. I just took I've got it loose now. I put a paper towel on here and put my wrench on there, and the whole piece will start coming off like that. There was a little bit of water left in there, and then you rotate this back and forth, and maybe a little sideways if you need to, and it comes out. And that's your cylinder. So, and how you can know when you put it back in which way's what is this particular style has an H for the hot, C for the cold, or I guess I can put it like that. And then when you're looking at it, when it's in, your off cylinder will be right there to the left. So that's another way of. So, like I said, the dilemma I'm having is it's brand new, more or less. Has not been used. Let's put it that way. Has never had water on it. But nothing looks out there. But as far as it going up, it's gonna. This would be the problem, I'm thinking. So this should just come out. Yes, pops out. Huh. Got the water off, but it's not. It's acting like it's not off. Strange. Huh. So somehow it's letting water in there. And I really cannot see a problem. Well, I do see a little problem. If that is a problem. No, they're both designed the same way, it looks like. So that's not a problem. Yeah. Whether that whole thing is seated right, I don't know. Nothing appears to be wrong to me. Everything appears to be okay. The only thing I can think of is when you're turning this valve off, it's not actually turning all the way off. And this looks like it's not, well, it might be made to take apart. But I don't know if I want to try that or not. I think the first thing I'm going to do is go see how much one of these is. Because some of the ones I saw at the store were almost as much as I paid for the whole faucet. Shower valve. Unless there is an adjustment on here on the off, see, there's your Alright, I'll let you know in a minute what I figure out. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm gonna see if I found the cylinder. Actually, I didn't find the cylinder. This is the closest one they have now. You can see the difference in them. It's the original. So it came with springs, and the new springs and washers too that go on the inside and go inside here. Well, they're inside of the cylinder. This part right here, cover, got new springs and washers. Even though, as I've said repeatedly, this is a new one. I don't know, maybe it was defective. It cost $32. So it will not be a big loss if it is a loss. So that goes in there. These to be in the off position go in like that. Let's see if we got that on. I'm trying to get this on the camera. Goes in there. Oh, and get exactly in there, right there. So I'm going to install this and see what happens. Okay, we put it back in. Got my nut on there. Now, let's see. I don't need this anymore. I don't believe it. It doesn't go on with that new one. No, that's all that right there. I don't even think I need this. I don't think I do. You see, this is all different now. See, I don't think I need any of this now. This is all new to me, guys. See, it's a different cylinder. See, that won't even go on there. Yeah, that only goes to there. But that's definitely not going on there. So what I'm thinking is the handle. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, it's got to go in there. But this handle's not going to go on correctly. Yeah, it has to go on there. So this part may not work. See, when I was looking at it, it's the only one that kind of matched up. It's the only one that kind of matched up. See, this is not going on there at all. Right there is the only place it'll go. Let me see something here. I don't think it's going to work right. Well, I gotta go get my screwdriver. Okay, I did get it to go on there. It's a tighter turn this time, so maybe it's making a better seal in there. Again, this is what it's going to be. Right there. That'll be out to here. Somewheres. And we'll have the other throat that goes on there, I think. Right about there. I don't like how far off this is sitting. Not at all. But there's where it may. So when you turn that on, it's still only halfway. And off. It's right there. So I need to get that backed out a little bit if I can, without taking it back out. Now, we'll leave that be for now. So what I want to do, alright, this should be off. water's on. This has got a little bit of remnants of when it was dripping before. Now what happened when I did the last video was it wasn't dripping, just like now it's really not dripping. When I came back later is when it started dripping. Cold water is not dripping. Not yet, anyway. So then we try the hot once again. So with these new pieces in here, just brand new, just off the shelf. So if it's gonna leak, I'm gonna assume it's the water pressure. Alright, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give it a little while longer than I did before. Oh, it's leaking out of here now. Now it's leaking out of here. It's not good. My goodness. Alright, turn it back off. Well, okay, I've done numerous things. I've done numerous investigations into what might be going on. I think that I've got it fixed now. I got a new cartridge cylinder, even though the other one was brand new. I went ahead and got this one. It was like 30 bucks, a little over 30 bucks. But it fits in this valve, but it is just like a universal one that fits different types of deltas. So I was kind of skeptical. It had two the springs with the washer gasket on it. Came with two of them, so I replaced all the inside in here. Turned it on as you saw a minute ago, and it was still leaking. So I ended up investigating more, finding out that it could be either the parts wore out, which how can it be wore out? They're brand new, plus I just replaced that cartridge. It could be the damaged valve. The whole unit could be damaged, which is a possibility. And then your water pressure. And I was thinking, well, you know, we've lived in this house for several years now, since 2021. Never had a problem with water pressure before. Water pressure being too high, not low. So I've been kind of just thinking about it. Well, the other morning, I would just happen to go outside to look at my dryer vent cover, and right in beside it is my water heater. And I noticed there was water coming out from underneath the underpinning. Put my finger down in it and it was warm. I was like, oh Lord. So I took the door off of the water heater, and what had happened was the pop-off valve had started opening up. It was just open a little bit, and it was just a trickle. It was like if you had barely had your faucet on. That's what the leak was like. I don't know how long he's been doing that. So I again looked for causes of that, and one of it is too much pressure building up inside the water heater. If that pop-off valve is not working right, your water heater can explode. So there again, the water pressure coming up. And I've had some recently. I've had one of my washer hoses started leaking. I had one of my water lines under the house spring a leak, and these PEX lines are pretty durable, and they were just put in right before we bought the house, not too long before we bought the house, the year that we bought the house. So they may have been in there 4 years now. So it's highly unlikely they're just going to spring a leak. So what I tried doing was I turned the water pressure down coming out of the ground into my house. I turned it quite a few turns to like I'm closing the water, and I ended up turning these shutoffs about a quarter of a turn back off to try to reduce my pressure down, and it seems as though it's working. It's but let me back up again. What I ended up doing with my valve cylinder here is when I put all the new parts in it, it still leaked out of here where it was leaking a minute ago, and so I ended up taking the valve cartridge back out. I put the original springs, which are designed just a little bit different than the ones that came with my universal one, and put the original washers back on there, and it was not leaking out of here anymore, but it started leaking out of there again after the water was on for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. It just starts dripping out of the shower head. So that's when I adjusted the water shutoffs down here, and the water is still coming out fine. You could, I mean, if you were going to use this for a shower, your water pressure would be fine. So it has now not leaked for probably 40-45 minutes, something like that. And what I did was I turned it on for about 15-20 seconds, and I turned it off. I waited. You know how your water will drip down, so I waited for it to stop doing that. Waited a few minutes, and I turned it on again, and now it seems like it's not leaking. So I don't know if the washers just needed to get wet to be seated, or what it was, but or if it was the water pressure. But it looks like it's not gonna be leaking anymore. So I'm gonna consider it working correctly. So I know I keep making the videos on this, but I mean it's not working right. So we want to try to get it working right, and bring you all along for the ride. So now, as long as this doesn't leak anymore, I can continue putting my plywood on here and on the ceiling and on these two short walls here. And then once I get that done, I will be getting my PVC board. That is going to be the hardest and nerve-wracking part for me, because that's going to have to be done correctly, because you don't want any seams except for on your corners. You don't want to have a seam like right here. So when I measure this piece out, I've got to measure for my shower head and my shower valve to get it correct. In the shower valve, I'll be putting this piece back on. So I'll have that piece back on. So my board will just be cut out the dimension of this circle here. That way in the future, if you have anything going on, you can hear and work on it. And my cover plate, which is right here, this will be covering, eventually we'll be covering the whole up. As you can see, it's bigger than this, so it'll cover all that just fine. Alright, so that'll be the end of this video, and we'll see you back. The next shower video will be the plywood going on. I don't know if I'll be putting any of the PVC board on or not. So that's it for this one. Check back again. We thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you could, If you enjoying them, hit the like button. We thank you. See you next time. God bless.